Alright, so people have been asking for it, so I'm just gonna do it. If you followed any of my other tutorials on lava, it's usually that you have lava, but it doesn't provide the bounce. Now, I do want to demonstrate that first, the lava block that I'm using, which is the lava tile 2L, you can find that just by searching through props and searching lava. Well, I guess you'll want to search all of Fortnite, apparently. I don't know where this falls under, but search all of the Fortnite folder for lava, and you'll find lava. So it's not one of these. You scroll down until you find the lava tile 2L. And I think I might actually be using this one. There's multiple duplicates of things. I don't really know if there's any difference. I don't think there is. But I'm definitely using this one. And in my level that I've created already, again, I said the lava actually works. So people have been used to adding one of these lava blocks and being like, well, what the heck? I can't get the lava effect to work. The lava bounce material, the physical material. So what this block does is it just does it already. It's already built into the lava block. So you don't have to follow that tutorial in order to make this work. So if you're looking for that, I would advise follow that tutorial, follow those other tutorials that I have, but you don't need it if you're just trying to move the lava block and get it to continue to have the physical lava effect, the lava bounce. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate that it is working in my level, and I've already got this whole thing working, so apologies for that. But you know, see, I haven't even added any additional effects to the lava block, and it's already doing what it's supposed to do. All right, so it's not moving by itself. I will go into that, but it is providing the lava bounce. So if I fall into it, I'm going to be in trouble, especially with the way I made this level. All right, so let's stop that for a minute and go back to the editor. So again, I put this together quickly. It's really rudimentary. It's just some props that I added. This is a flotilla or fortilla floor net half. So we've got just a bunch of those that go along the outside of this cylinder. And this cylinder I created through the modeling mode. I'm not going to go through that. So it's just I created a cylinder and I used the poly cutting to create a hole in the cylinder, and that just provides basically the bounds of this level. Okay, so again, we're using the lava tile 2L, and then the most important part here is that I've added a prop mover. Okay, I'm gonna do it again just for demonstration purposes. I went to devices and then found prop mover, and then I just dragged it onto the tile. That's it. Actually, I did rotate it 90 degrees so that the arrow is pointing up. That's it. Other than that, you may want to make some changes because first of all, it's going to be very fast to start out with. So I took the speed and I dropped it down to as low as it can go. I forget what the default is. Let's see. It's 5. That's pretty fast in comparison. You just saw it demonstrated already. that was already pretty fast. But at minimum speed, 0.25, that is how fast we were moving before. So by default, it moves at the start of the game. You probably want that. You could trigger it off of something, an event or a timer, but you can delay when it starts. So in a matter of seconds, you can delay how quickly you want it to start moving. Distance, default is 20. I was concerned about this maximum here of 400 because this cylinder, and it's all about how the editor deals with measuring units. This cylinder was 5,000 units in the modeling mode tall. So 5,000 tall for the cylinder. I thought, wow, okay, that's not going to make it all the way, and I might have to change the way I do this tutorial. But funnily enough, 400 meters, which is, if you see in the description there, distance in meters, the prop will move if it is not stopped or interrupted. So that will come into play here momentarily. We'll talk about that. But 400 meters was good. It actually, you'll see when I demonstrate it fully that it will continue to go up, but you can figure out how high you actually want it to go. But 400 meters is tall enough for this rudimentary level that I made. All right, so the next, if I can actually get it to click, the next thing that you want to take care of is all of these collision behaviors. So there's one for AI, one for player, and one for prop. And by default, all of these collision behaviors are set to stop. So once it collides with any of these things, the prop mover will stop, thereby stopping the lava. So depending on how you want your game to work, you may or may not want that to actually behave that way. So what I've done for mine, just because I don't want it to stop at all, is I've changed the mover to be continue non-stop. Okay, so for AI collision, continue. Player collision, continue. Prop collision, continue. So, and that is working. That's working exactly how I want it to for this demonstration. That's it for this. You could tinker with the damage, because not only does the lava tile by default, because the physics collision is working, the lava bounce, it does damage you one health per hit. So every time you bounce, you're damaging your health by 1. Now with the lava or the prop mover, that's been increased. So player damage by default, a prop mover prop will damage the player an additional amount. Now you could change this to not damage it any more than the lava bounce already does, but what you may want to do is 1 health per hit is pretty low, and you could definitely utilize this damage property to your advantage. So whatever you want to set this to, just note that will be additional damage to your player. All right, so that's it really. So you create your level. These are just the 2 starter spawn pads. I created a small little landscape. This is part of the hill terrain prop gallery. Whatever, it's and some rocks. This is again very rudimentary, but you create your level how you want it to. The lava is just how I explained it. So you use a tile, whichever one you want to use. And, if it doesn't have the physics on it, you may want to follow my other tutorial on how to add the physics. But at this point, I don't see any reason why not to use the lava tile 2L, unless you want to do the lava a different way and have it damage the player a different way. And I'll probably do a follow-up to that. This may be included in the same tutorial. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, that's it, really. It's a tile and a prop mover. That's it. So we'll go ahead and we'll start the game. And again, this is 0.25, so I gotta figure out where I'm actually headed here, because it's pretty fast. By default, I haven't changed any of the other settings. What you'll note is that, listen for it, it's actually destroying the props. So all of these little props that I'm jumping from, it's actually destroying them as they're getting submersed into the lava, which is kind of cool. I didn't have to do anything to make that happen. So adds a nice little effect to what you're doing without having to do any actual work for it, which is nice. But again, so you may think that it's moving pretty slow because I'm making good progress. But again, this is a very simple map that I've created here. You know, this is just jump from one platform to another. If you force the player to, let's say, cross the whole thing, you know, maybe they had to jump from a beam or something like that, or maybe even something that's floating by a chain or whatever. You know, that adds time to their upward progress, you know. So you do want to keep that in mind as you're deciding how fast you want your lava to move up. Again, so this was as slow as the prop mover will go. And it seemed fast at the beginning, but, you know, you could argue that, well, players can move pretty fast, you know, and even walking across the whole cylinder to the other side, they could probably make it in plenty of time and still make it to the top. So it's really just up to you how you want to do it. You know, if you want to make it challenging, you could definitely turn that speed up higher. You'll just want to test that. Again, but I think that's a really cool effect. Every time the lava submerges another prop, it blows up the prop, which is awesome. Which is exactly what I want, because, you know, you're not going to go back to those props anymore. Assuming that your game mode is to continue just moving upwards. So again, this is, I made it to go the distance as high as it could possibly go, or as far as it could possibly go, because it can go in any direction, but upwards, we're going 400 meters, and it's still going, and it will actually end up submerging. I've already tested it, that it will submerge the entire thing, and you can see sort of behind the scenes after I fall off here, that it's the lava tile. It's just a flat tile. It's not I didn't make it a huge, because the player's not going to see most of this stuff. You know, depending on how you make your levels, the player is not going to see that it's just a flat tile of lava moving upwards. Okay, so again, I don't know why it sometimes damages me higher than one, and not others. It may be that I actually have to be on the lava for a little bit longer. So I think I will demonstrate an alternative way that you could do this, but it's probably going to require additional prop movers, or a sequencer, as I've mentioned in some comments before. May require, it will definitely require more work. But as you can see, yeah, it's still going. It's still going beyond that. So depending on how you want your level to work, you will want to determine, you know, how tall is 400 meters in the Fortnite world. That's something for you to determine. But that's the basics of it. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm going to clip it right here, and I'll demonstrate. Okay, so the other way, and you'll notice that we've now removed the prop mover, and we have removed the lava. So the other way, and you may like this way better, is you're going to have to create a new prop that you're going to control yourself. So we're going to go with just a regular building prop. We're just going to call this lava block BP. I don't know what the proper method is, whether it's BP lava block or lava block BP. I don't know. Open that up, double click it, wait for it to load. Now we're going to add a new shape. So what we want is a cube for this one, and we'll go ahead. I already tested this. Let's see. I think I made it 50 by 50 by 10. And we'll scroll out of that here. Let's see. There. It will appear very large. Let's see. We're going to have to clip this, because I have to test this. We can compile this and we can double check it, actually, right here, right now. So we're going to go ahead and compile, and we're going to test how big that is. All right, so let's drag that prop in to make sure. Okay, yeah, that's, it's a little big, but we want to encompass the entire area, right? So we're gonna scroll this thing down, and that's about right. So from here, we can apply a texture. However, we want to be sure, and I think we still have it open, we want to be sure that we change the collisions. I think, and now I'm going to correct this later if I'm wrong. I think we can get away with no collision. Actually, you know what? We cannot. I already know we cannot. The problem with any of the devices that interact with props in Fortnite, or Unreal Engine for Fortnite, is that if you have no collision, the prop doesn't, or the prop manipulator or the prop mover, they have no collision to interact with. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Again, I'm still kind of new, but you will need to have some form of interaction. I did run into this in a previous project where I wanted to have water that I could color, and I wanted it to be able to change colors by using a prop manipulator. So what we're gonna do is, I think we can get away with Fort Water. I'm cutting into the last clip to say that it does not work. So the physics material, or the physics preset or collision preset that I had chosen before, Fort Water, does not work. Again, it's these prop manipulators and movers are finicky in that they have to have a certain type of collision in order to work. So what I ultimately used, and what I used in a previous project, is overlap only pawn. This does work. I've tested it. So you'll also notice that now we have a different material here. I probably actually, I'll clip everything I had to do with the first material I tried to apply to this. The first material I tried to apply, which was something that I had bought long ago, did not work. There was way too many errors, and the scaling was way off. So I found another one that I had bought a while back, and this one seems to work with some modifications. It's much better. I had to slow down the lava quite a bit, if you can believe. This is significantly slower than it was before. I don't know if this is intended to be lava or not, but it looks like lava to me. So anyway, now that we have the collision preset on overlap only pawn, and what that does is it will overlap the pawn, the camera, and vehicles, but everything else it does not. So it will allow the player to go through this mesh, and we want that because, well, that's what real lava does. You know, you don't bounce on top of lava. And I had initially tried to add a water device, so the Fortnite water device. I did try to add that on the outskirts, you know, envelop the whole cube that I have here, or lava block, but I tried to have a little bit of an overlap that I added another prop mover to. Unfortunately, the water device does not allow you to move it. So that's out of the question, unfortunately. Again, we could probably solve a lot of this through sequence. I haven't committed to doing that yet, but I do want to demonstrate that, similar to the way that we did earlier in the video, we now have a custom lava block that I have created that has a nice material added to it. And like before, we have the prop mover is touching it. And it'll be all the same settings, so everything that I changed before, it's all the same, with the exception of I changed the damage that this causes to players to 1. And you'll see why. Because, you know, yeah, you die pretty quickly, but I don't know. For the purposes of this demonstration, I didn't want to eliminate the player so quickly. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the game. Everything's ready to go. Again, it's all the same mechanics, only this time we can actually touch it and not hop over it. So, yep, we're getting hurt. We're going to go ahead and jump onto here, and then jump onto here. So you can see that it's still breaking. It's still breaking props. If we are touching it, we don't hop on top of it, and so it's easier to manage getting onto various props. But here's the only downside. You know, it's not realistic to swim in lava, although that's how I wanted to try and do this demonstration. Unfortunately, again, that doesn't work. So if you fall in, you know, I'm only not dying right now because the block has already passed me. If I touch it, I get hurt. But you can imagine that if you fall into a much longer block of lava, you will die, and you'll be seeing the inside of the mesh, which is not very immersive, to say the least. I did try to create a post-process volume to maybe distort the camera, make it look like, oh, I'm inside lava. However, you're going to run into the same problem that you can't apply the prop mover to the post-process volume. So that's out of the question too. But yeah, no, it's now we have a second type of lava. So if you're going for the custom lava instead of the default lava, again, you'll want to create your own prop and not attempt to use one of the built-in Fortnite props like the one of those other lava cubes, because unfortunately you can't apply a lot of the same mechanics to those, like the ones that don't have the bounce effect on it. You're gonna be walking on top of it. It may still damage you, but it's gonna look really, fake and not immersive. So this one at least allows you to fall into the lava. But again, you're gonna want to figure out how to make the player, what you're going to want to change what they see when they fall into the lava. But yeah, that's it, I think, for this tutorial. I think I've accomplished what we were trying to do as far as moving lava blocks. So yeah, hopefully this helps.